Hi, and welcome to Talking Tech with Tricerat. I'm Andrew Parlette. Tricerat. I'm joined today by Zach Lander-Portnoy. How you doing, Zach?
What's going on, Andrew? Thanks for having me on the show.
Sure. So today we're coming to you from the ServiceNow World Forum. It's the 2023 version in New York City. So here in the Big Apple, and we've been immersed in, ServiceNow, but kind of the whole IT management scope and a lot of AI.
Definitely a lot of AI. I mean, one of the primary themes that they talked about during the keynote and one of the overarching mantras was putting AI to work, really leveraging the power of that technology. And so the ServiceNow platform. So they spent all day talking.
Yeah, definitely. And, from the keynote on, I mean, certainly the phrase du jour being AI, which really any conference in 2023 seems to be, in fact, I think it was just named word of the year, but certainly a company like this and an event like this has to kind of walk that line between things that are available now today to enhance that productivity, but also some visionary forward looking things. And I think they've walked that line. We've seen a little bit of both of that.
We have, and we've definitely seen both a combination of like live demos of where AI is being leveraged today in the ServiceNow platform, supporting specific workflows, for different business units, but also sort of their forward-looking vision of how AI is going to continue to accelerate heading into 2024.
Yeah, definitely. So a few things in terms of that really struck me about AI. First of all, we saw a few different types. Certainly like the chatbot or the virtual assistant was a big thing. But seeing how that can like bridge between different modules and different systems and really start pulling different enterprise systems and data together to really enhance that user experience when they're getting that data.
For sure. Like one of the most, I think, poignant examples from this morning's keynote was how the AI assistant that ServiceNow has embedded in their platform can be used for different workflows for different purposes. So there was both a demo where the AI assistant is being used for development and coding, kind of that text to code type, use case, but also more of a customer service interaction, like more of that customer based use case. And regardless of sort of where it was in the platform, whether it was, internal use or external use, they were still leveraging that same AI assistant across multiple parts of the platform.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of my personal topics that I'm really exploring right now is the idea of a knowledge base, and from even a personal knowledge base on ways that I can use AI for my own work. But to have that now, and especially have a cleaned up version and something that is effective and useful for the AI to query and base its results off of. And we saw some interesting demos and certainly some of that vision of what that looks like when you've got a good base layer of information. And using analytics to find out what people are searching for, what they're finding, what they need, and making sure to focus on those areas. And really along those lines, really like an enhanced search. We've evolved way past just like a simple query across, our website, for instance. But to really be able to pull that data out effectively and based on the context of what you're looking for.
For sure. And, the wrapping for all of this that ServiceNow presented was improving the experience of the end users being both your frontline support folks, but then also the customers that are interacting with your frontline support folks. So instead of those customers today, picking up the phone, placing a call and getting logged, and then resolution sort of being triaged outside the platform, ServiceNow presented us with a very holistic approach where those customers are interacting with the chatbot. That chatbot is actually handling that first level support. And then it's pulling all of the data and the knowledge from like a knowledge base to really triage as much of those entry level, first level support as possible so that you get fewer ticket escalation to level 2 and level 3, which of course, improves the customer experience and then reduces your overall costs.
Right. And certainly a view on the end-to-end process, not just that one little piece. And so when we keep talking about AI, in addition to that initial interaction, for it to be able to then summarize what happened, both the initial inquiry, the steps that were taken, and the solution. That's one of the missing pieces a lot of times, is actually going back and recapturing all that effectively. For AI to be able to do that quickly, again, another time saver that then builds on that knowledge base in the future and can make it even more effective, both for the human and also the AI assistants.
For sure. I mean, the summarization capabilities that they showed around, taking what used to be a series of like back and forth between, again, the customer and the frontline support person in like an email chain, and then crafting a nice little summary at the top that, to your point, can then be like the headliner for similar type issues to then be in that sort of a knowledge base is really, really remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah. A few other topics that really, or, even just some little tidbits that struck me, certainly for us in the enterprise software category, thinking about the shift towards investment in solving those business problems outside of just like a single piece or a single task, really envisioning it in a different way. And really part of that is even like the scope of IT now going past, one of the phrases was, we're not just data centers and desktops anymore, but really thinking about business problem solving, both from, an IT perspective, but then how AI can help get us there.
Definitely. I mean, I think one of the things that really struck me from ServiceNow's overall messaging is that they're really, pushing enterprises to extend the value of the tech stack beyond just the internal use case. So you're not just saying that it's going to be something that you use to support your internal staff and end users from an IT perspective, but also something that extends to the customer. And what's really interesting about that is traditionally, organizations have made purchasing decisions on technology based off of the value that it's going to provide just to the business itself. And ServiceNow is coming in and really starting to challenge that notion and saying that the technology that you apply as an organization shouldn't just improve the business, but also improve the experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic point. Absolutely. I also kind of heard a little bit from stage, but also talking to people or hearing questions. The question was like, well, what are your blockers to utopia? But one of the underlying things about that is that there are blockers. And while there's some great things out there today, there are still some hardships and hurdles to overcome. But it's great to really be in the midst of like really trying to figure out what those pieces are and ways that we can get past them. But it is, it's not perfect today, but it is a march of progress.
No, it's not perfect. But what I love about it is, they presented a vision where, with a unified sort of leadership and an approach that takes into account the long-term vision, long-term goals, you can get there with baby steps. There is a way to step into this platform and ServiceNow and not have to bite it all off, right away. But as long as they're unified on that main goal, the change management to get there it doesn't feel as heavy of a.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly one of their mantras is think big, but they also talked about, but you generate results. Like don't just think lofty, like you got to actually those steps to get there. So that's great. Anything else that you want to highlight from your thoughts here from the day?
I think the last piece that I thought was really interesting is, in order for all of these models, whether it's, the AI assistant that they showed in the ServiceNow platform or LLMs that are queries, large databases to really be effective. Step one is data accuracy and data cleanliness. And so taking those steps, because the models, they don't know the difference between data that is valid versus data that's invalid versus corrupted data versus data that's new. And so taking the time, before you launch, into some of these areas to really clean up the data that it's querying, it's only going to accelerate the learning that the model can.
Right. Yeah. Great point. I mean, I think again, it was that balancing act. I kind of cringe sometimes when there's these lofty marketing driven things, but I thought they walked a fine line here in this conference of things that are available now and ways that productivity can be enhanced. And that was really exciting.
For sure. And that's definitely one of my final takeaways is, ServiceNow presented, a rich history of sort of innovation, but a lot of, again, sort of the stumbling block that they had to overcome. Yeah, they're sort of in the past.
Yeah.
And so a lot of what, again, they've had to like push through to get the platform to where it is today are features and functionality that now exist like out of the box for it. So yeah, really a great conference here at the Javits Center.
Great. Yeah. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to another podcast that you might want to check out. One of our partners at Tricerat is Integra, and Andy Whiteside runs a set of podcasts that it helped me think through like the ServiceNow and how it works, especially, in the EUC space, which we're a part of, but even broader in ways to kind of think about ways to optimize that. So that's something that you can check out. And really to wrap things up here, I also want to talk about how Tricerat is leveraging these tools and technologies and fitting in the space, both for ServiceNow and AI. And if we start with ServiceNow, the print management space is certainly, that one of those elements in the broader, certainly EUC and VDI management, but really across IT. And when you look at it, what these types of IT management software is looking at that broad scope to optimize those end-to-end processes across all those needs. And so anyway, with screwdrivers and the printing information that we have in ours, we're looking at ways both casually, like through event logs and other types of ways to bubble up information, but also more formal integrations to make sure that data from your printing process and solutions are feeding into these larger IT management infrastructures.
Well, for sure. I mean, our core vision is that if a IT system administrator is accustomed in their day-to-day to using the ServiceNow platform, that's the platform that, our, it's a printer endpoint management solution is feeding that data into. So that's sort of where everything event logging to the print shop reporting information gets sort of like, get pushed into, so that IT system administrator can continue to work within the platform that they are in every single day, supporting all different types of endpoints, not just.
Exactly. Yeah. Very exciting to think about it in that larger scheme and not have that silo. It really works both ways, going from IT management systems, drilling down to printing, or having, your print solution where we're the expert in that field, but bubble that up to the wider audience. And then for AI, obviously a lot of exciting technologies changing all the time. Looking to add in like those kind of virtual assistants and chatbots, both for admin access, but also user interactions with the system, and really leveraging ways to more quickly and easily get both, help, but also ways to do configuration and information gathering using AI tools.
Correct. And whether it's, rich unstructured data that's like seeding again into, an AI assistant, or that classic, unstructured data from a knowledge base being for that stuff to get the output you need to, automated case logging of things that are happening in the environment. Those are all like the really exciting, I think, use cases that, get us all jacked up when it comes to management.
Yeah, it's obviously been a lot of thought and brainstorming and discussion for us. And so you'll see some of those things start coming into our current versions, but also as we launch the next versions, the next generations of these printing solutions, you're going to see a lot more in there. We'll have some more blogs and other information coming out more specific to those AI topics, but definitely a lot going on in that space within Tricerat products, as well as the larger audience. All right, we'll wrap it there. Thanks so much for joining me today, Zach.
Yeah, awesome conference here, ServiceNow World Forum in Dallas, New York. This was Talking Tech. Parlette, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you all. Bye.